Alright, so thank you very much, Steve, for the wonderful introduction. I am super excited. I've had a couple people come to me excited about this presentation. And so my goal is that you walk away with actual tips to be able, as those that are considered introverts, be able to walk out and feel a bit more confident. And a couple different tips and tricks you can use out in the field. So, my presentation is not what was in the home care slides that was. Can you turn it down just a tad bit, Jim? Turn it down a little bit. Sorry. Alright, so links, I will give you a copy of the slides and presentations at the end, which should be a QR code because it's to make it super easy. So, for those that are, so let's just get a raise of hands. Anybody in here consider themselves an introvert? Good majority of the room. Which is always weird because it's like, well, I guess introverts aren't necessarily going to be raising their hands. I'm starting to think about this might be a bad question to do like Q&A and ask, so we'll see. And I've had a couple people come up to me and say, David, you're not an introvert at all. Well, the truth of the matter is, I've been in your shoes, right? So, but let's talk about who this is for today. You guys shy away from meeting executive directors as assisted living. You go in, maybe you're one of the nurses, you see the family, or you see the marker, and then you like leave. Or you're an owner, you just see your family member that you're supposed to talk to, and then you leave and you just make eye contact quickly, right? Or maybe you go to networking events, and you're like, I do not know anybody, I don't want to know anybody, I don't want to talk to anybody, I'm being told I have to come at least 1 a week, I'm here, I'm sitting in the back, I'm getting out as quickly as possible, right? Anybody? Yeah, a little bit. Or maybe just self-conscious about self-promotion. You know this is part of business, but you're like, I just don't want to talk about myself. I don't want to talk about the company. Like, I love what we do. Love helping families. I think our caregivers are the best in the world. I just don't, it's so hard to ask people to give me money. Anybody a little bit? Yeah. So what's the goal for today? I got 3 very simple goals. Number 1, we're going to talk about how you can actually use questions to be able to get people talking to you first. We're going to talk about what to prioritize. And yes, we are going to talk about networking events. Actually, my first slide on my networking event slide is literally, yes, you have to go to networking events. So my story. My story is simple as this. I actually came from medical device. I came to my first, I was recruited into senior care as an executive director to run a couple offices. And I'm like, yeah, I've been to doctor's offices. I'll just go to doctor's offices like I used to, and I'll get tons of referrals. Like, it's super easy. And as many of us know, doctors really don't refer us all. I'm like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. And then I heard about like the networking events, and I'm like, well, there's Steve and all the cool kids over there, and those are cheerleaders, and the geeks over there, and people aren't talking about it, it's like high school all over again. Like, anybody like going to networking events, it's like total cliquish, right? Like, how do you break into those cliques? Like, it's tough. And I was in the exact same boat. I came to my first boot camp in Washington DC in 2015. I learned a couple things, just like many of you, I like 17 pages of notes. And there's going to be tips and tricks that I learned that I was able to utilize out in the field and start to build my confidence and start to learn the different things that we can be doing to actually get people to talk to us instead of us kind of go out and just spewing everything we know. And I'm very proud to say that I've grown 3 different companies up to about 10 million. Many of them. So hopefully I know a little bit of what I'm talking about. So. Alright, so what could today do for you? Raise your hand if you'd like to increase referrals. Yes, all of it. Good, good. Alright, how about increasing your census? Yes? Good, good. How about increasing your profits? Good. These are my goals. My goal is by the end of this today, you will learn, as well as everything else you've learned this week, how to do many of these things to increase referrals, increase your census, increase your profits, and grow your businesses. That is my goal for you today. And as you may have heard, I'm also a little bit of a basketball referee. I refer in Ice Cube's league. It's actually called the Big Three. So we're going to stay with a little bit of a three theme today. I've got three main points, three different sections for today. Right? And yes, that is me refereeing high school basketball game. So number one, for introverts, we're going to talk about how to leverage your strengths. We're going to talk about what to prioritize. And we're going to talk about events. All right, does that sound good? Yeah. All right, let's get going. So, leveraging your strengths. What are some different strengths out there that introverts have? Anybody want to shout some out?
Deep thinking.
Deep thinking, what was it? Organization, good. Observation, good.
Articulate.
One more time.
Being articulate.
Articulate, good, absolutely.
Listener.
Very good, good listener. Yeah. How about composure? Empathy. Authenticity. Creative. Analytical thinkers. But the number one benefit is what he said in the back of the room, which is being a great listener. Very good. Because let me ask you a very, very simple question. What is the number one thing people love to talk about? So let them. So one of the things I talk to a lot of my coaches, a lot of my coaching clients, and I say you really shouldn't walk into any building and talk about yourself unless you're asked. Right? Especially for those that are introverts, this is a great, simple lesson you can take on. Walk into any building, just start asking questions. Start listening. And the more you listen, the more questions you ask, hopefully, they'll then say, wait, what do you do again? And then you're happy to obviously talk about it, but you don't have to spew out, because we all know those people that spew out, oh, I've got the greatest company in the world, I've got the greatest caregivers in the world, this and that, and staff, and etc. And honestly, they're not really listening when anybody's talking back. So, we try to listen first, and we just ask questions. Those are the introverts who love us. I don't have to say anything, just ask a bunch of questions. Makes sense. So, here's what I want you guys to do next time you're in a facility. Be a detective. What does a detective do? Just go around, they look at the area, they look at the building, they kind of get a nice visual of what's going on, they pick up different cues, right? They see if the skate is in, they see if people are running around, maybe it's empty, right? And they come up with a handful of questions that they want to ask different people. So I'm going to make this really, really simple for you. And this is one of the things I go over with a lot of my new clients who are very scary. I say, I just want you to have three very simple questions. Number one, what is your census? This is a question that you can ask almost every single time. Why? Because census change. Here's the other cool thing. For those that are new to this industry, census, by the way, is always given in a percentage. Right? The other cool thing about asking this question is, it's never just the number. It's never just, our census is 80%, 85%. What do they usually say? It's down to about 85%. We had about a couple deaths. Or it's, hey, we just brought on 3 new families, we're up to 92%. Right? Don't they usually just kind of give you, whatever the number is, there's a reason behind that number. But now, if we're good listeners, now we know that we can attack this completely different. If they just had 3 deaths, then I know that the opportunity for me to be able to get referrals today might not be as high. Versus, we're growing, we just got 3 new families in. That might be a better opportunity to be able to get referrals. So asking the census, and by the way, it does change pretty much every day, but pretty much week to week. So it's a great question to be able to ask. Again, simple questions that we talked about with home care. Do you work with home care? And then, do you have any challenging families? And then, for those that are in the system, Fast Start Lesson 5 goes over all of these things. But like I was saying, I actually gave this to one of my clients. One of the things I have for my clients that are new is who are completely scared walking into facilities for the first time. I say, take out a note card and write down the 3 questions, right? What is your census? Who do you work with for home care? Again, hospice, home health, power waters, etc. And what challenges are you facing, or do you have any challenging families? Put that on a note card. But those 3 simple questions, you put it on a note card. and you read it before you walk in. Hopefully you start to memorize it, but if not, just put it in your pocket. And you just have it right there. And then if you need it, when you talk to someone, you can simply pull it out and ask the questions. But what this did was it allowed the person to have just 3 very simple questions that they could use each and every single time. And then for one of my clients, Claire, she said this just gave her the confidence. She didn't really have to worry about what to say or what to ask. She knew once she got through these 3 questions, hopefully, they started to ask her, what does she do? What about her company? And be able to move on. So this was really beneficial for one of my clients, Claire. Like I said earlier, it's in the Fast Start Lesson 5. But as introverts, you are unique. So use that to your advantage. You don't need to set up hospital meetings with 50 people or large events with even like 15, 20 people. Keep it simple. Just do one-on-ones. Just very simple. Bring in set up appointments. So instead of like trying to pop in all the time, hey, let's just set up a time to meet. Let's just set up a time to chat. There's many accounts that we would go to on a regular basis, Tuesday at 2 or Thursday at 10 a.m. in the morning. So I have scheduled regular appointments. That way I'm not kind of just popping in. These things were scheduled. Bring in snacks. Obviously, everyone likes food. It's a nice discussion topic. Somebody was telling me earlier on April Fool's, he brought in he went to Dunkin' Donuts and got a box of donuts, took out the donuts, and put in like a salad and fruit, and then brought that out. I thought it was like incredible. It was a great April Fool's joke. But again, what it does is food puts a smile on those people's faces. If it's donuts, if it's fruit, or if it's a joke, either way, it's a starting way of conversation. And then one of the things that we'll talk about a little bit is articles. And this is another great way to just start initiating conversations by simply saying, what do you think? The other thing is leading with insights and share stories. And this all is under Fast Start Lesson 6, by the way. I love case studies because I believe stories tell. Instead of coming in and talking to our family saying, we have our facilities, we have people to come in. We work with bathing, clothing, and dressing. Everybody does that. But what if you change your conversation? How many times have walked into an assisted living and they're like, I am never going to refer to you because you're just going to steal all of my families. Have you ever had that happen? You just shake your head. I know introverts aren't going to raise their hand, so it's good. Just shake your head a little bit. Right? So case study format is basically title, overview, problem, solution, results. But here's what I would do. And now, this is one of for assisted living. I actually created a flyer. So those that want to email me or find me afterwards, I'll send you a copy of my case study and I literally called this flyer when to refer. And the challenge that I was getting was they didn't know when to refer to us. So I said, okay, let's just come up with an example. So let me ask you, assisted livings, do you ever have someone that's sexually, verbally, or physically aggressive against another resident or staff member? Does that ever happen?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, what do? Oh, well, we look after them and we keep a good eye on them and we do the best we can. So just to be clear, you're short-staffed. You're telling me that you're going to stick someone with them to make sure they don't hurt somebody else or say something else for what? An hour maybe? And this person could easily do this again, probably needs their medications adjusted? What if we came in? What if the home care agency came in and said, look, we'll stay with this person 24 hours a day until the medications can get adjusted. So we'll do this 24 hours a day for, let's say, 3 or 4 days. We'll get medications adjusted. We'll stay with them a couple more days to make sure they're okay. And then we'll start to titrate down once they get better under control. But your staff, you're short-staffed, you won't have to come out and stay with this person one-on-one. Allow us to do it. You think the assisted living's one for that? Yeah? Do you think that was a good family that they could potentially refer to us? Yeah. But I'm telling a story, right? I'm using examples of different families, of different assisted livings that I worked with to be able to tell the story, to go over the problem that they were facing and how we could be the solution. And the result was that they didn't have to use additional staff. The family member was well taken care of, and the other bonus is they did not have to go to the family and say, hey, your mom, dad, whatever, just hit another resident. That happens again, they're gone. Now they say, you know what? Your mom or dad hit someone, but we've got one-on-one care with them. Or the other option, if you don't want the one-on-one care, we can get your mom or dad out. Since Living doesn't want that, family doesn't want that, it's a win-win situation. And I've got 4 or 5 other examples of case studies to share with the person. Again, I'm not coming out telling everything what I'm doing. I'm literally showing them a flyer, walking them through, because as we know, most social workers, most RNs learn through case studies and story time anyway. All right, number 2, prioritize. I can't say that word. Prioritize, thank you, emails and calls. All right. We all know, we learned this over COVID, right? We can touch a lot more people over email and over phone calls than we can going in. Unfortunately, we don't get the face-to-face time that we really want, so we need to actually go in. But that doesn't mean we should be sending out, again, newsletters. But more importantly, there are some great things that we should be utilizing to have those touch points with our referral sources. The other thing I will say here is subject line is absolutely key. All of us all get spam emails from time to time, pretty much every day or 5 minutes a day, right? But my guess is you've probably opened up a random spam email because of the subject line, right? Everyone here at least once or twice? It's the same thing for us. Instead of sending a simple subject line like ABC Home Care can help you and your families. What if you wrote ABC Home Care can reduce your readmission rate by 10%? Think they're more likely to open that email? Oh yeah, absolutely, right? And then the other things you can have in those emails. Here's the other thing about the problems with most people's emails. If I send, this is a referee lesson I learned. So from time to time, coaches actually yell at us, referees, by the way. I know. Most people don't believe me, but it's true. Coaches yell at us. But there's a very simple line that we use, and that is answer questions, don't answer statements. Right? So if a coach says, you suck, okay. But if the coach says, hey, number 45 is hanging all over my man, can you watch it? Yeah, coach, I can keep it. Or, hey, your guy is actually holding him first, or explain it. But I can answer questions, I don't have to answer statements. Looking back at your own emails that you sent out, are you just giving them statements? Or are you adding a call to action? Are you saying, hey, let me know if I can help you? Hey, I'd love to set up an appointment. Are you asking them a question or reason for them to respond to your emails? You can also send articles, which we'll talk about in a minute, and of course, following up on any families that you're working with. So here's one of the things, so let's get to the articles part, because this is one of my things that I used to love to do, and still do to this day. I would go on Google, and this is one of my biggest recommendations. So I know Steve last night talked about what are the things you can do as soon as you get home. Here's one of the things that I would absolutely do, and you need to do this tonight, which is open up Google. Plug in your city, plug in nursing home, plug in the word news, and see what starts to pop up. Right? And you're going to have a ton of different articles of different assisted livings that won 5-star awards, different assisted livings that maybe had a fire or something else. And by the way, if you can't find it in your city, obviously expand out to county or state or whatever you have to do. Right? But find articles of different assisted livings or nursing homes, SNFs in your area that you can now share. Because the crazy thing about the nurses and social workers that we're working with is they don't have the time to read and get all these updates that we have to be able to share. One of the biggest benefits, one of the reasons most social workers, case managers don't meet with us is because they already know what we're going to say. Right? We all pretty much say the same thing. You have any for us? Do you have any for you? Do you have any for me? You don't need that. It's like 14 of you for every single assisted living, right? Every single rehab. So instead, but if you brought in an article, I used to bring in comics. Why? To show that I have a sense of humor. Right? If I bring in a comic that says, nurses, a picture of 2 old people at a nursing home and, they're crawling or doing something crazy, or there's a video I just saw of, what was it, Nick? It was the hospice, the crazy hospice group. Horny hospice. Horny hospice. Look, I just said the word horny hospice and you're all laughing. Right? So that's my other point. It shows you have a personality. Do you guys like to talk with people that have personality, or like to talk to people who are dry? Like, no-brainer. Even if you're an introvert, again, you can use a comic to say that you've got a fun side. And my guess is, here's the other cool thing about articles and comics. Couple things. Number one, whenever you do this, you take your card and you staple your card to it. If it's an article, you're going to highlight a couple things. Here's the coolest thing that happens. You're going to give it to front desk, you're going to give it to a social worker. Here's what's going to happen. That social worker is now going to take it to her friend Janice. Hey Janice, did you see this? No, I didn't see this. Oh, check this out. Oh, Mary from ABC Home Care. Oh, good. This is so cool. Or this is so funny. Hey, Rebecca, you gotta check this out. And it now gets passed around the office because it's a good article, or it's a funny comic strip, or whatever it might be. And now the office is starting to get to know you. So next time you walk into the building and say, hey, is so-and-so around? You're like, ooh, yeah. Hey, does she have a good article for us in the comic? Ooh, she's got a fun personality. Right? It gives you a reason. Because again, these social workers are, as Steve loves to say, the most overworked, underpaid, underappreciated job in all of healthcare. Right? They are not sitting and learning about the hospice and skilled nursing right down the street. I wish they would, but they don't, because they're overworked. So that's where we can separate ourselves. Nick, that's you! This must be important. Is this important, Nick? This must be important. Yes. For those, I'm going to bring out the green pen for this one. So bam! That's right, the green pen. So, if you don't know about skilled nursing news, we're talking about articles here. This is great. I literally just posted this, or I went to their site 2-3 days ago. Let me ask you a simple question. These are all articles. Money on the table. How many mistakes nursing homes make regarding reimbursement? Do you think your administrator at a nursing home or a social worker at a nursing home would want to read that article? Yeah, probably. Bankruptcy doesn't matter, it's work in life. Policy experts dispute claims that nursing homes will be minimally impacted by Medicaid cuts. So if there's Medicaid cuts, do you think they're going to be impacted? Do you think that's an article that would be worthwhile to bring in? Highlight something. Hey, by the way, it's a great conversation starter too. Did you see this? What do you think? Will this impact you? Again, I'm not talking about my services at all. I'm bringing up education. I'm letting them talk. And then hopefully, again, they're turning to me. And then the last one, 2025 reports. More deals, private equity influence, shifting of staff, dynamics, and as Nick likes to say, the tech investment. Again, do you think social workers, case managers, different nursing homes might want to read an article about what's going on and different trends? Maybe. Could be. I think so. So I would start to look into these different ideas as far as articles come in. It's a great way to, again, your competition, I guarantee your competition is not doing this. This is a great way to start to build the trust, respect, and everything else. And it builds your credibility, right? Because we all know the person in our area that knows everything, right? There's that one person that's a key person that knows everybody and everything. And the reason is because they probably talk about articles or they talk about the different things. So same thing for you guys. You could be that person that brings in the articles, that reads things. And now you're sharing ideas outside of, anybody for me? Is there anybody here I can help with today? Right? Start to separate yourself. I have a client, April, was a marketer for 2 years. She struggled during COVID. She couldn't talk to anybody. She was a face-to-face and had issues. And she's trying to, she sent all the emails and say, hey, this is our newsletter. Hey, love to set up meetings. Hey, love to talk to you. And I worked with her and I said, again, change your subject line. Hey, bring something of value. Think about them first. She changed her subject line, she changed her content, and was able to start setting up Zoom calls. Again, this is during COVID. Zoom calls led to about 30% more because she was going above and beyond. She was bringing in something different. She was changing. And again, during COVID, we probably get thousands of emails going back to the subject line. The subject line is key. And again, benefit of us working with her is I help her every single week. Hey, are you making those calls? Are you sending those emails? Are you doing the things that your competitors are not doing in order to be successful? And she clearly was. She was killing it. She did a great job. All right, last one. Networking is key. You know what's coming here? And what's the first thing I'm going to say?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. You still have to go. So here's what the native people in the room are saying to me right now. A, why do I have to go? Or B, I already know everyone there. It's the same people every time. Why do I have to go? The truth of the matter is, technically, every time should be 5% changeover, or 5% new people, so there are new people. You just have to look. But here's my big piece of advice for all you introverts that look at the room and see a whole bunch of Steves, or a whole bunch of, the high school cheerleaders, or the jocks, or the nerds, or the cliques. I want you to try something new. I want you to find the host. And I want you to ask the host who they can introduce you to. By the way, this is Advanced Training Lesson 1. Let me give you a nice comparison here. How many of you have kids and have done a 3-year-old's birthday party? Yeah, good part of the room. Let me ask you, for those that had a 3-year-old birthday party, you want two things. Number one, your own 3-year-old to have a great time and have a great birthday. The second thing you want at that party is for everybody else to have a good time. Even your son's friend who's on the soccer team, who knows nobody else, you want to make sure that kid has a good time. And the neighbor who is homeschooled, doesn't get out very much, but he's invited to the party because he's your neighbor, you want him to have a good time, right? Agreed? Yes? Yeah. Guess what? If I'm an assisted living, if I'm a rehab, I'm hosting a party, what do you think I want out of the networking event? I want everyone to have a good time. My job is to make sure everybody has a good time. So if you come to me, and I'm the host, and you say, you're new, you're shy, can you just introduce me to somebody? Do you think they're going to introduce you to the quiet kid? Or do you think they're going to introduce you to someone like Steve, who's going to be able to talk and bring you into a conversation and share stories and really make you feel warm and comfortable? A or Steve? Steve, of course. They want you to have a good time. What is Steve going to do? Steve's going to make you feel nice and warm and comfortable. Then what do? You say, hey, Steve. Anybody else you could introduce me to? Who else I can meet here? What do you think Steve's going to do? You think Steve's going to introduce you to a quiet person? Or is Steve going to introduce you to somebody else who's outgoing and talkative and everything else? And by the way, when I say Steve, yes, talk about outgoing, talkative, personality. Here's the best part for all those that are introverts. He's going to talk. You don't have to say nothing. You don't. Until he simply asks you a question. Right? At some point, he's going to talk, and hopefully he turns to you and says, wait, what are you doing again? Who do you work with? Then you can bring up your own services. Because you've all been trained, and you understand how to talk about your own services. But you don't have to worry about coming up with the weather is great outside these days, right? Or did you see that crazy plane crash in Toronto? Steve's going to talk. The host is going to talk. Anybody else they introduce you to is going to talk. You can just sit back and listen. And they're going to introduce you from person to person to person to person. And that's how you can start to get around and meet with everyone and be able to talk about your services. That's how you start to work with a networking event, like asking for the introduction. Is that helpful? Those that are looking over? Good. Good. Because again, what is the number one thing people love to talk about? Themselves. Right? Which is great at a networking event to say, tell me what you do. And they will. My favorite story is one of my clients who literally graduated from college, and many of you are in the same sort of scenario that she got hired by her mom's friend who runs a home care agency, and she was looking for a job. And they said, okay, go network. Go out there, do what you can, see if you can get us some business. She was freaking out. Just never sold the industry, doesn't talk to anybody, was freaking out. And I said, just go up to the host and say, can you help me on this? I said, I'm not going to give you anything to say. I'm not going to give you like terminology, special cards, nothing. Just go up to the host and say, I'm new, can you help me? And she did. She got introduced to 4 or 5 people. And from there, she was able to get meetings and appointments. And she started to talk to the people who were the key and social influencers, which really made an impact to help her grow her business. And not only that, within 3-4 months, she was hitting 24/7s. Because she would just ask questions. And really, she says, David made me push through my limits. I just said you have to go to the networking events. Right? I didn't say you have to the messaging of, book 3 meetings and all that stuff. I just said go. But because she asked the right questions and because she was open to going, people felt that and wanted to help her. And it really worked out for her. So I was super, super proud of her. All right, the last thing we're going to talk about is my favorite part, which for many that we've seen, is the 555 of social media. Here's the other big key thing I talk with all of my clients. Okay. It's a very simple thing. By the way, me and Nick have a nice little bet going on. As far as how many people in this room are on LinkedIn. So if you're on LinkedIn, will you just raise your hand high enough? Oh, I so win. I won big time.
Last weekend was weak.
This weekend is better. You can make all the things you want. I just crushed you on that bet. Let's just say that. So, well done for all of you that's on it. This other, I think it's like 15, 10% maybe that's not. Get on it, please. I don't even care if it's your personal account, if it's your work account. Get on it. It's the easiest thing to do. And or Facebook as well. Please get on social media. Here's why. I'm going to give you a very, very simple plan. This will take 5 minutes a day. Right? Steve was talking about 2 hours here, 6 hours there, 8 hours there. Okay, I got something so simple, it will literally take 5 minutes. And will have a huge impact. Here's how it works. On social media, LinkedIn or Facebook, you're going to go to 5 different referral sources. You're going to write a 5-worded comment. So many of your referral sources are saying, we celebrated the Super Bowl, had a Super Bowl party, or Martin Luther King or President's Day party, or something along those lines. It's like maybe they won an award. Maybe Gerda just turned 100 years old. And you're going to go on and you're going to simply write, "Happy birthday, Gerda. What an amazing accomplishment." Or you're going to say, "Congratulations on your 5-star award." Or, "Wow, that party was really, really cool." Simple 5-word comment. Here's how the math works. So if I do that, if I go to 5 referral sources, by the way, this only takes 5 minutes. 5 referral sources, 5-word comment. I do that 5 times a day, or 5 times a day times 5 days, that's 25, times 4 weeks in a month equals 100! How many of you would love to do 100 touches in a month for 5 minutes a day? Yeah. Super easy. And here's the coolest thing. Here's the other, sorry, there's lots of cool things. This is the other cool thing. Number 1, the only people that go to Sunrise or Bright View of Orlando's Facebook page or LinkedIn page are people that live and work there, or people that are working with Bright View of Orlando's page, right? I live in Washington, D.C. I have no interest in going and checking out a system of living in Orlando. We're in agreement here? Here's what this does. If you make a comment on their page, they will see it. I'm not talking about likes. For all those that have some type of social media, my guess to you is you could probably, recent post of your kid's, 4th birthday or the last cat photo or dog photo you have, you probably have let's say 15 likes and 2 or 3 comments. Here's the funniest thing. You could probably tell me exactly who said those comments. You could not tell me all 15 people that said like or love. right? You know who comments on your page, right? So, if I work for an assisted living, and I start seeing Brenda over again commenting, and Brenda's commenting on something again, and Brenda's commenting on something again. When Brenda comes to my facility, do you think they're going to recognize the name Brenda? Yeah. Here's the other cool thing. Now, I'm using this as prep work. Before I walk into any facility or community, I'm checking out their Facebook and social media pages. Why? Because that's going to give me an instant thing to talk about. If I just heard about Gerda turning 100 years old, when I walk up to the front desk, I'm saying, by the way, I saw a picture of Gerda. She here? She's like, that was a really cool birthday party for her. What do you think even the front desk person's going to do? With a big smile, now they want to talk to you. And same thing with the social worker, case manager, executive director, administrator. When you start talking about them, when you talk about the cool things that they're posting and you're acknowledging it, they will fall in love with you. The other thing is my shout out to Nick. Nick gets 2 slides on this. I don't know if I'm getting any slides on his page, but it is what it is. Right? We're always worried about with the LinkedIn and social media. Like, well, what do I do for content? Not only so you can talk about that today, but we've heard multiple times, collect testimonials. Put that on there. Share stories. Common challenges. I'm working with one client, and I said, why don't you start putting up different challenges that your families are facing and how you and your team are overcoming them? Don't you think other families that are even slightly looking at your page might want to know about how you're helping their families overcome similar ones that they're dealing with? Maybe. Or if you're really, really lazy, go to ARP, go to Alzheimer's Association, go to any of those and take theirs and then repost it and put like, hey, did you see this? It's Heart Healthy Month. Here are 3 tips for Heart Healthy Month. And you're just sharing with Alzheimer's or ARP or any of those guys. Right? So you make it super, super easy. Here's the fun fact from Forbes. Every dollar spent on email marketing will make $42. Right? So if you invest in this and you put the time into it, it will work out for you. So, as I run out of time, there's 3 things that we talked about you're going to learn today. Is number 1 is how to start using questions instead of start spewing out answers. So as introverts, being able to use the questions to start to engage conversation. Number 2, what to prioritize. And of course, I had to hit on networking events. Was this helpful? Let me ask you, what did you guys learn today? Right? Give me something to learn?
555.
555?
There's a lot of introverts.
A lot of introverts out there.
I have a question.
Okay.
You said that you changed the subject line, but would love to leave it there. I'm notorious for that. What was her subject line changed to? Do you have just an example?
Yeah, so it was something that actually benefited the facility, right? So it was, again, we can reduce your readmission rates. It was, an update on a current family that they're saying, hey, let me give you an update on Gerda. It was, it's something that they would want to open, right? Another way of looking at it is, what are some of their biggest challenges right now, right? So I know it's staffing shortages, so something along the lines of, I know you're dealing with staffing, let me show you how we can help you. Or again, whatever other things that they're challenging families, let me give you ideas of how to help. So whatever their biggest challenges are, you're using that as the their time.
It's so far forward because.
By the way, I know my presentation isn't on Lunch and Learn this week. I have another one on. This is how you enter Lunch and Learn. By the way, you stop as soon as you're done, and you turn to every single person. You say, "I just sat up here for 30 minutes, talking about our services. Give me one thing they learned." Psychologically, what this does is you wait, and you let them respond. Because them telling you what they learned will help psychologically each other. Because if they tell me, if I keep telling you how great I am, how great I am, how great I am, so then you turn around and you say, you know what, your 555 was awesome. He just heard that your 555 was awesome. And now, since you both work in the same building, it's more beneficial. Right? Because instead of me telling you how it is, you're telling me. right? So if you don't end your lunch and learns with this question, you're doing it wrong. That's it. Otherwise, sidebar, if you're not getting ROI from, if you're not getting close to lunch and learns, that's another big problem. And we can talk and help you later. Here are the slides. So if you like the slides, please scan the QR code. And that way I can, it's as simple as just put your name and email and all that stuff. Oh, I like this maybe. Wait a minute. Any other questions for me?